Welcome to Bandit's Keep Actual Play. I'm Daniel. We are continuing my original Dungeons & Dragons solo campaign. We're using Chainmail for the combat system, outdoor survival for kind of the hex crawling, and currently 2 of my groups have joined together to raid an orc/ogre lair. So far they're doing pretty good. They're going in tactically trying to take out as many ogres as they can using sleep spells, and then they're going to draw the orcs out into the battlefield where they have 70 basically horsemen with lances waiting to effectively wipe out this orc tribe. So we'll see how it goes. That's a huge space to cross. I think they're going to go up and check up here. They don't want to open up to get themselves open to an attack. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what? I'm going to have them look up here. We're using geomorphs here, so all right, they can see that's a very long hallway. So they're going to go this way instead. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so they're going to basically end up here. And I'm counting that as a chamber. So let's see if there's anything in there. 1 or 2, there's something in there. There's not. No monster anyways. Any treasure? Yes. Ha! Treasure. Okay, so on my list, I will roll a d6. Re-rolling the 6 because I've already ate up that treasure. 1. Ooh, there's a 1,000 gold pieces here. Nice. All right, so some of the magic users that are not really carrying much will scoop up that 1,000 gold pieces. We'll call that a full turn for them to do that, get everything ready, and then we're gonna leave them here for a second. I'm going to roll for Wandering Monster while they're kind of resting, because they have to rest on that turn anyways. 2. There is a Wandering Monster at the end of this turn. Okay, well, that's good. So we're starting over. So at the end of turn 6, so just once they finish resting, a Wandering Monster is coming. What is it? 5. Ooh, an Ogre and 2 to 16 Orcs. This could be bad. 8. Okay. 10 orcs, an ogre and 10 orcs. So the party, of course, is going to, if they hear them, so in other words, if they're not surprised, they're going to try to like keep their light low so they can surprise them. The party's surprised. Man, these guys are moving around in the dark, that's why. So we're going to call this the ogre. We're going to call this the orcs. Then I'm going to say they're coming from both directions. Now, unfortunately, this is a wide open space, so what's going to happen here is we're going to have basically a mixed combat. Now, we might luck out here. 1, 2, 3. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so you go by the average. So basically, this group is fighting as Lightfoot now currently. If they get hit, they're going to obviously reform, but because they're this first round, they're going to be treated as Lightfoot. That is not ideal. So the orcs are going to charge forward. Orcs are heavy foot. The ogre is also going to attack, obviously, because they're the most powerful. I think that in this space, because, you know, obviously they would have been back into the corner. We've got 2 squares in front of them, so I'm going to allow double the amount. So normally I would allow 3 orcs or the ogre, but I'll allow 3 orcs and the ogre. So that's going to be a total of 7 heavy foot against light foot. So heavy foot versus light foot is 1 per man, 5 or 6 hits. So we're going to roll 7 dice against the party right now. This could be very bad. We might see some of these magic users drop. All right, they get 7 dice, 5s and 6s. Oh. Wow. I think this is not what happened last time. We had orcs charge in and basically take us out. All right, so we have 4 total hits. So let's see who they are against. I'm just going to start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're going to roll a d10. That's 7. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So that's 1 hit gone because he only had 1 hit die. 8, 9. He also only had... Actually, he's man +1, so he's going to get a saving throw. We'll put him to this turn for a second. So I've been doing that wrong, by the way. I keep saying if I roll a 1, they survive, but it's actually a 6. Actually, let me just roll right now. No. Okay. He's down. Ooh, this is very bad. All right, next one. 4. Oh, okay. 4 hits this person. They need 2 hits to take them down, so they're down. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, yep. And then that's all the hits. Okay, we are back into a very bad space right now. Now we're going to reform. So again, we'll be able to push our plate mail. Yeah, they're not going to be able to defend everybody, though. Are we surrounded? Okay, so the question is, can we... Let's figure out what this looks like. I think this is going to be important to see like if we can actually get in or out of this thing. We've got kind of a 10-foot space that we're in, and we have the ogre pounding on us, and we've got a couple of orcs. But really, there's a big empty space where there's nobody. And this is one of those situations where I think our 2 fighters up front, now that we've reestablished, can hold the front. These 2. And the magic users in the back are not going to be in combat. So I'm going to allow them to cast a spell behind the group. So one of them, this guy, as a matter of fact, is going to cast a sleep spell. That's going to take out some of the orcs. Unfortunately, the ogre is in combat, so we can't... he's not going to take out the ogre. This may not have gone as well as we had hoped. Okay, so first level types, 2 to 17. So 3d6 minus 1. Okay, that's more than enough, right? Because it was... Well, there's 3 in combat, so it can only take out 7 of them. So 7 orcs are now asleep. Okay. With 3 up, and there's another ogre. So that's what they're going to do. And now we go into the melee. Again, I'm just going to roll the... Of course, now we've rearranged. So we have a total of 7 heavy foot attacking our armored foot people up front. Heavy versus armor is 1 die per 2 men. Well, since there's only 7, they don't quite get what they got before. So they're going to get 3 dice, 3 attacks. I'm going to make the ogre we'll count the ogre as 2 of them. And what we're going to do there is the ogre is going to get these 2 black dice. And remember, they can add 1 to one of their dice. And right here, 6s are hits. Nothing. Okay, well, I think we're going to focus fire on the ogre. I think that makes the most sense. So we're 4 heavy foot against heavy foot with these guys. This guy from the back with the spear would make him 5. Well, he gets the +1. Do I have anybody else that can use? No, they can't use the weapons. Okay. So what we're going to do is the 2 fighters that get no bonus, and then I'll roll the other one separately. So again, 6s are hits. Actually, if they take out the orcs, that's going to be a smarter move. So what they're going to do is go for the orcs. The orcs are also heavy foot. So again, 6s are actually kills. Then you take out at least 2 of them to... Okay, no bonus, so nothing. That was the one with the bonus, nothing. Okay, so no kills on either side this time. Okay, let's do it again. Again, we can't use a sleep spell. I don't think, again, the orcs, let's give them a chance. I'm going to say it's unlikely because they're in the middle of a fight, but will one of them turn around and start to wake up their companions? Yes, okay. I'm going to give a D4 that they can wake up this round. They'll be active next round. Okay, 2 of them. They're going to wake up 2 orcs. So that'll give us a total of 5 orcs. I'm going to use this right now. There's 3 orcs up, and we have 2 more that are going to wake up next round. All right, so let's go into the combat. Again, they get 3 dice. The black ones, one of them can get a +1. Rerolling that up top, because I said that. Anything up top, I reroll. Okay, that's 1 6, but again, they need 2 6s to kill these guys, so nothing. And then the party is, once again, 4 with no bonus and 1 with a bonus. That's how I can do that. Ugh. Nothing. Okay, this doesn't add to them being able to fight. It's just extra people so that they won't lose their advantage, if that makes sense. So right now, right, we can't have any more orcs attack than we already have. So these are just basically backup orcs. All right. We don't want to waste another sleep spell because right now might have to retreat out of here, having taken out only a couple orcs. I think we're trapped, so I can't really imagine getting out without fighting our way out. So again, the 2 black are the orcs, the ogre. Ooh, okay. Well, the ogre gets +1, but the orcs do not, so that's no kills. And again, the party is the black one gets +1. That's 2 hits, kills 2 orcs, but they're just going to replace them with the other ones they had. Okay, are they going to wake any more up this round? Because again, they're in the middle of a big fight, so I think it's 50-50 at this point. Yes, they are. Okay, how many? 3, okay. All right, so they're going to wake up 3 more. This is bad for us because we can't break out of the combat when that's happening. Okay, so again, we're going to do the ogre plus the orcs. Oh, 2 6s. That means somebody's down. 1, 2. We'll go even, odd. Odd. Okay, so they're going down, but not until next turn. Not until the end of this turn. This could be a TPK here. We might be in a lot of trouble. Let's hope that we kill some orcs right now. We may have to kill that ogre. That seems to be the main opponent, to be honest with you. So I think we're going to... Because now with all the orcs up, it's not like it makes a difference. So we're going to focus fire. Actually, at this point, too, I think I'm going to... Next round, we're going to cast another sleep and try to take out the 3 orcs in the back. Because we might have to try to run here. So again, this is going to be the party attacking. Nothing. Nothing. All right. Next turn. Sleep spell will take out the orcs in the back. That's still leaving us with 3 up front. Ogre attacks. Nothing. Party attacks. Nothing. Oh, with the +1, that's 1 hit. So one orc goes down. So the orc's down to 2. Didn't actually change anything yet, but if 1 more orc goes down, then they'll be rolling less dice on the other side. I think at this point, there's only 2 of them. They're not going to be waking anybody else up. All right. Again, ogre attacks. If the ogre takes out this last fighter, then we're basically in trouble. They do not. This fighter's like holding the line by themselves at this point. Okay, that's 1 more orc. So that means now they're only going to get dice for the ogre because the orcs aren't doing anything. So ogre attacks. Oh, that's enough. But we still get to attack back. Nothing. Okay, at this point, I don't think they can rush. Well, all right, what we're going to do here is we're going to see if we can rush past and get out of here. We're basically trapped because we're in this corner. But at this point, all the heavy armored people are dead. We're literally left with people who are faster than the orcs. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to give it a shot. We're going to roll initiative. If we win, we're going to break away from combat. They will get their attacks, though, before we leave. We do win initiative. Okay. So the ogre is going to get their... Actually, now, because it's all light foot, there's 5 light foot. Now they've got 4, plus they get 6 dice. So basically, we're rolling 6 dice against the party. 5s and 6s are basically kills, because everybody here has 1 hit die. Wow. Okay. I'm going to re-roll that, actually, because I don't know which dice are the ogre versus the orcs. Because it's not just 6 dice. The ogre gets +1 to one of their dice. Okay, so... Ogre is 4. Orcs are 2. Okay, so one of the white dice can get a +1. Okay, that's a +1. So one of these guys is down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll just roll a d10. So 6 would be 3, 1, 2, 3. This guy. Of course, the guy didn't cast a spell yet. All right, and the rest of them are running. They are actually faster, and as soon as you go around a corner, you basically lose the opponent. So they're going to be able to run out. Can they? Because they can actually go 24 now. Let me see how far it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, they're not going to quite get out. They're going to run this full turn, and they're going to end up in this room. So I'm going to... But there's not a wandering monster check, though. Actually, they're good, because it wouldn't be until the end of the next turn, and they'll be able to get out. Wow. Okay, that went very bad. But, again, there's a plan in action here. We've got these 4 survivors. They are going to get on their horses, and they're going to try to get the orcs to follow them so that basically they can confront them in that mass combat. Unfortunately, they only took 3 of the ogres out, and since there had been, 3 new ones, they didn't do anything. They went in there and just basically died for nothing. I did say the magic users were carrying the treasure, so they're basically carrying the 1,000 gold pieces, so they did get that. But this now is going to become the decisive moment. They're going to leave. The orcs are going to hopefully follow them. And yeah, we're going to switch out to a big battle. All right, so the way we're going to handle the following thing, just to keep it simple, is we're going to say that the player characters, there are 4 of them now, they're going to need to evade the orcs, who are following them, of course, in order, basically that's going to be the equivalent of them, like, leading them. Like, they're evading them, but they're, like, popping up and then disappearing and popping up and disappearing. If they fail their evasion roll, well, then we're going to jump back onto the other map and get chased around by orcs and hopefully not get killed. Here we go. Our group is currently now 4. The entire orc group is going to be. So it's going to be over 60%. They have a 70% chance of evading them. They are twice as fast because they're on horses. So that means that they basically have a 95% chance. Now, it also adds 10% because they're in the woods, or 25%. But basically that means that they have a, I'm never going to, I guess I could say it's 100%, but let's just keep it fun and say there's a 95% chance. Well, 2. Okay. The party, as small as they are now, are able to effectively lead the orcs out into combat. Now, the only problem is, well, no, they got the evasion roll. So I'm going to say that they lead them around long enough that basically the orcs come out, into the field just when the other guys are setting up. So we're not going to have a good setup because really they wanted them to come the next day. They wanted to go in there and do this stealthily, but that didn't happen. So it is actually October 29th. They are going to, in the evening of October 29th, so the orcs aren't going to have the advantage. I'm sorry, the player characters are not going to have the advantage of the bright daylight either. The party is going to face them. Okay, we're jumping into a chainmail battle. Whether or not you've watched the other ones or not, I'm going to try to explain stuff. That way, if you haven't, you're good to go. There's a few things I'm going to do just for kind of fun, but let me just kind of point out what's on the field, and then I'll talk a little bit about how we're going to play this out. On this side, we have those 70 horsemen, the light horse that we hired. Now, remember, chainmail is either 20-to-1 or 10-to-1 scale, or 1 to 10, however you want to say it. So each one of these represents 10. So that's how we're going to do this. So there's 7 stands, effectively, 7 figures. On the other side, you can see these individual figures. Those are our player characters. They're running at this point. Over here, these blue guys, they are orcs. So there is 12 stands of 10, right? So basically 120, because it was 115, I rounded it up, orcs. These are the ogres. Now, there's only 8 ogres left. Sometimes I play this on a different scale, so you see there's 4 ogres on each stand, but we're counting each stand as 2 ogres, which is basically 12 people, which rounds down to 10. So each stand counts as 10. So it all works out. The math is all going to work out for us here. These individuals are never going to fight by themselves because they're not heroic. They're just there, again, to kind of set this thing up. So there's a few things we need to factor in here. Number one, we're fighting in a clear area, so I didn't want to put down hills or anything, but I scattered some kind of like rough terrain and water on the field here. You can see these little white things are upside down. And what we're going to do is I'm going to roll a d6. On a 1 or a 2, I'll flip it over, otherwise I'll take it off the field. I'm just going to go around. I'm going to start with this one. Okay. Okay. Wow, okay, nope, that's that one. That's that one. That's that one. Wow, are any of these going to be here? Nope. One up here. Okay, that's there. That's probably not going to do anything. And then finally this one, which is probably not going to do anything either. Okay, well, that didn't. That was less than exciting. So there's one patch of rough ground, which will prevent charging. So I don't think that's really going to come into play at this point, but you never know. We're going to use a centimeter scale here, by the way. The chainmail is in inches. I find it easy just to switch over with these 2mm figures to use centimeters. I know it's not exactly correct, but that's just how I do it. That way I don't have to do any math on the fly. So we want to factor in a couple things. If you remember, they had gone into the dungeon only for a handful of turns, and then they've been running, and they've been leading the orcs along. Now, obviously, the orcs weren't just standing there, right? So it took them time to assemble. It takes time to go. I wasn't going to figure out all that math, but what we will do is this. We're gonna roll, and we're going to see how many hours it will be, because it could be anywhere from like, because they went to dungeon in the morning, right? It could be anywhere from like noon right now to like 4 or 5 o'clock. So we're going to say how many hours before the sun sets? 3. Okay. So the orcs will have a definite advantage once the sun sets. Now I'm going to check the weather, because at 3 hours before sunset, I think there's a chance they might get a penalty. Don't believe ogres get penalties in the light, but I will check that. So if it's cloudy or raining or something like that, then they will not have a penalty. So we're going to roll a d6. 4. Ooh, cloudy. Okay, hold on. 3. Oh, but it clears. Okay. All right, so it's clear. It's clear. They've got about 1 hour, I'm going to say, where they're going to have a penalty. Each turn in this is 10 minutes. So in 10 turns, so I'll use my little tracker over here, the orcs will no longer suffer the penalty if this goes on longer than that. But the good thing for the orcs is that they have a leader with them. Because they have a leader with them, they will gain +1 to all rolls, which means that they don't lose the -1. So normally they'd be -1 because of the sun, but they're +1 because of the leader, so it's a wash. The ogres, on the other hand, they suffered no penalty in bright light, so they are actually good to go. So everybody's basically going to be more or less on equal footing, assuming that the group stays together. If the orcs break up into groups, I'll keep track of which ones are with the leader and which ones aren't. And they probably will do that, because being in one group like that is not the smartest thing against these horses. The other thing we want to figure out is, I'm also going to say for the PCs, they're going to be treated as leader figures, meaning that they'll be the last ones to die. Effectively, if the orcs wipe everybody out, then the PCs will be dead as well. But these guys are mercenaries, so they don't get any kind of bonus. So basically, it's just that effectively the PCs are going to disappear as soon as we get this going. But there is one thing the PCs can do, which is cast spells. 2 of them have sleep spells. And because of that, I think what we're going to do here is, in fact, let me check. So each one has 1 sleep spell. What we're going to do is, to make that work, we're going to say the sleep spell will take out 1 stand automatically, because there's no save versus sleep. But the range on it is going to be equal to the lowest rank of wizard, because they're only 1st level, which is seer, which means their range is 24 inches, or 24 centimeters as it would be. So they're going to have sleep spells they can use. They cannot move and cast, so they're going to have to do it on a round they're not moving. And the final thing here is that because of the fact that the PCs are basically running them out into the daylight, and of course the orcs have battle fury going, and they're mad because their people got attacked and this and that, the orcs are going to have a chance of being surprised, because they don't expect these guys here. But we are on flat ground, but it is bright light. So we're going to just roll flat out. On a 1 or a 2, they're surprised. If they're surprised, then that means that they're going to get within charging distance of these guys before they're just going to chase them all the ways up. If they're not surprised, then we'll figure out a distance at which they see them. Okay, they're not surprised. So I'm going to say that basically once they come, so their charging range is actually 30 centimeters. So we'll say, looking at this here, basically they're about double that now. So I'm going to say right there is where they see the horses. Okay, seems fair. That way, basically the orcs are going to see that, and they're going to have a chance to react. Well, we'll see. We're going to roll initiative and stuff. Okay, looking back at this, actually the 2 magic users that survived, or 2 of them that have spells, are actually the 2 second level magic users. So they have 2 sleep spells each. So I have 4 sleep spells up my sleeve. I'm going to put them here as tokens. And we're going to begin. So mostly I'll use the black die for the orcs and the white dice for the men, but we may switch it up as we go. So the first thing we do is we roll to see who has initiative, thus who decides who moves first. Okay, the orcs have initiative and they can move first. I mean, these guys would have stayed far enough away. I just plopped them out on the table. They should have been out of the range of the orcs' charge, because that would be silly if they were within the charge range of the orcs. So I'm going to put them here. They would just stay double the charge range of the orcs, which is 18. Because they have to stay out of their missile fire range as well. So we're going to put them 18 away. Okay, let me just make sure. Okay, and they're fine. I was going to move people around, but let's just put them there. That's fine. They're far enough away that, again, it's not going to be that weird move where why didn't they shoot them with their bows the whole time? All right, so the orcs are going to get to move first or allow the PCs to move first. So I think they want to move first because they want to reform, I think. They don't want to face this charge with the formation that they currently have. So what we're going to do is both the ogres and the orcs move 9 normally. All the ogres are going to move forward. They're just moving up. Each of these is their own unit, if you will. They can form together, but they're going to stay the way they are. Okay. They're going to use their entire movement to reform to double their width. So they can face this charge, right? Because they don't want to. I mean, they could, they're going to go, yeah, no, they can do this. I feel like that's a line formation. I don't think that they would set themselves up as a single file. I mean, maybe they would. Yeah, no, this is how they're going to stay. Okay, so they've moved. We're going to give each one of them a marker that shows they've moved. Again, the leader is with the main group. If they separate at all, the orcs that is, I'll decide who the leader's with, and we'll figure that out. So next, we're going to move the PCs who need to get the heck out of there. They want to get up behind this line. So their movement is 24 because they're light horses. They don't want to block these guys, though, so they're going to kind of veer off a little bit. So they're going to do a quarter move this way, which will give them, which counts as 3 out of the 20, so they get to move 21. So they're going to basically come out of here so they're out of the way. They're going to get behind, effectively, these guys, who are going to move forward themselves. Because again, these guys are not exactly wanting to get into the combat. I mean, they can join if they want, but they're not going to really make a difference except for the spells. So they move up. And again, they can't move and cast. So I guess I could have sat there and cast a spell, which might have been smart, but they didn't. Okay, so now, although it might not have been smart because they might got to hit the next turn. These guys can also move 24 because they're also light horse. And they're going to do exactly that. They're basically 2 groups of 3 and a single. That's how I'm treating these guys right now. Again, they can join together, and they probably will when you come into this charge here. I think the first thing they're going to do is go after those ogres. That's probably what they're going to do, but we'll see. The thing about horses is that they can split move and fire, which they might actually do. I don't think anybody's close enough for missile fire at this point. The ogres don't have missile fire. Their range is 18, so no, they're not close enough. And they are close enough to cast a spell, but unfortunately, again, they can't cast a spell because they just moved. So what we're going to do is go into the next round. So that's 1 turn. Remember, at 10 turns, the orcs are going to start having an advantage. Okay, turn 2. Initiative. Okay, PCs can decide. I think they're going to go first because I believe they can charge. Do they want to charge the ogres? Their charge is 30, so they actually could charge. I know these guys are kind of in the way, but I think they can, you can slightly move and stuff. Yeah, I think what they're going to do Yeah, because if they don't charge the main body, then they might get hit. Now that means they're going to run past the ogres, who are then going to be able to hit them in the flanks, which again is not ideal. So maybe, because they're going to be smart on some level, is they're going to charge these guys. So they're well within the charge distance. That's 20. Their charge is 30. That means they'll still have 10 more left. They're going to charge, I'm going to count these guys as 1 unit for this particular purpose. Doesn't actually matter, but I mean, they're going to go like that, basically. All right, so they're going to charge forward. Now, as soon as there's a charge, there is a morale check. And ogres do check morale, because we checked that. And basically, they are heavy foot. So heavy foot getting charged by light horse. So heavy foot by light horse, they need to beat a 7 to hold their morale. So I'm going to roll the dice. If they don't beat a 7, then they're going to retreat. Okay, they hold their morale. That's fine. So combat will happen. I got to remember that they charged. That's going to be important. I forgot that last time I ran Chainmail. These guys are going to do the exact same thing. They are going 22, though. So they'll only have 8 more if these guys... Let me just roll there to see if they hold their morale. They do. Okay. So these guys... charge forward into here. Okay. They have both moved. This guy is going to do a split move and fire, I believe. So you can move half your movement, fire, and then continue moving. So again, their movement is 24, and they only need to be within 18 to shoot their bows. So I'm going to go... So to be within 18, they'd have to go this far, which is just about 10. So I'm going to go 10, which again leaves them with well, I actually don't think 1 unit of bowman can do anything. So they're probably not going to do that. Kind of miscalculated there. Because these are heavy foot. So heavy foot, yeah, no. I count them as half armor or shield. So actually they can't do that. What they're actually going to do is, so they move 10 there. They could charge this main unit, but they'd probably die. So I think what they're going to do is, it won't be a charge, but I think 12, yeah, they can move up and hit these guys in the flank. It's just a regular move, it's not a charge. But again, they're in the flank, which is very good. These guys are too far away to cast their spells. They're going to need to move forward again. So now they know this is going on. They're going to actually come forward. They got to turn around, which takes half their movement, so they can only move 12. And I think that is what they will move, because that should put them... I was going to go like this. The 2 that don't have spells are going to stay back. They'll just move off the thing. These 2 guys are going to move forward to cast their spells. Again, they can only move 12. Why are they moving 12? They can move 24, I should say, but they're going to move 12. So I think that will put them close enough. No, not quite. Okay, so they'll move within 24 of these guys. So that's about right. That's about right, okay. But again, they can't cast because they moved. That's going to cost them. Now, I, of course, say you can't cast a spell into melee in D&D, but that's not a rule in Chainmail. Okay, so these guys are going to want to help here. They only have 9 regular movement because they can't charge, because they can't charge into this guy because that would just be weird. I don't think that would actually be legit. But they can literally move up. So if they just move straight up, that's only 4. Well, that's kind of a waste. Well, they can start to wrap around next turn, though. So I think that's what they want to do, because they can't shoot any, they're not close enough to shoot any bows or anything. Okay, so they're going to just move up, straight up behind the ogres. Boop. Like that. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that. It's not like chess where once you move, you roll back. I think the smarter move for these guys is going to be to break their unit up into multiple sections so they can actually do some good. So I'm going to spend 1 action to break up into 2 groups. I'm just going to call that like that. In fact, I'll even let them reform slightly. No, you know what? They'll stay the way they are. Yeah, they're going to break up like this. The leader is with this group. We'll put 1 on top for him. As long as he's within 12 centimeters, it's not going to be a problem, but he's with that group, so just so we know. Actually, I'll put a little leader guy on top. I'll put one of these guys on there because they're basically gone from the battlefield. So I guess technically if the group dies, then the PCs aren't actually with them. All right, so now missile fire would be the next phase, but you cannot shoot missiles into a melee. We know that. And nobody is not in a melee, basically, that could be shot at. So now we're going to go into the melee. So I'm going to handle this one first. These guys count as heavy foot. So heavy foot. So versus light horse. So I'll do their attacks first. Heavy foot versus light horse is 1 die per 2. So there's 2 of them there, because again, each one only counts as 1. So they're going to get one die, and if they roll a 6, they'll take out a stand. They do not. Light horse versus heavy foot, 2 dice per with 6 is killing, and they get 1 extra die because they were charging. So they're going to get to roll 6 dice, okay, plus 1 more. With 6 is, oh, look at that. 6 is being kills. 1, 2. So they actually take out both stands of these ogres. Without the ogres, without this guy even having to go. So, but because of that, because they meleeed, they're going to take another token. This guy didn't actually melee, so he's not going to take another token. All right, very good. Cool. All right, next. Same deal over here. They get 1 die. If it's a 6, they take out one of the groups of horses. Ooh, they do. Okay. But again, it's simultaneous, so it's going to be exactly the same. And they did charge, so exactly the same number of dice. 6 plus 1 more. Oh, they did not fare as well. They got nothing. Okay. Okay, so that's the end of that melee. Now we have to do post-melee morale. Well, they're light horse, first of all, so they don't make a check until they lose. Oh, actually, they lost 1/3 of their people, so they actually need to make a check. 6 or better, they're going to rush back. They made it, okay. All right, post-melee morale. The side with the fewer casualties determines the positive difference, which is 1 multiplied by a d6, so 4. So the ogres get 4 right there. Each side now, okay, the side with the greater number of surviving, which is the same, so there's nothing there. Each side now multiplies their surviving figures. So heavy foot are worth 5, so 10, so they got 14. Light horse are worth 6, so that means they have 12. So the difference is 2 multiplied by 2, melee continues. Okay, so nothing happens there. And that's the end of that turn. So 2 turns have gone by, and now this initiative is going to make a big difference because these horsemen, whoever gets initiative is going to get a charge right now. And I will do a simultaneous if we can, because you can simultaneously charge. Okay. Oh no, the orcs. All right, humans, bummer. All right, well, these orcs are going to charge and hit this light horse in the flank. Unfortunately, or fortunately, however I look at it, he's by himself, so that's all that can happen right now. They're basically, these guys aren't touched, right? They're not touching they actually would have been like that. So what can actually happen is they can actually countercharge, which they will do. These guys, they have a 9 centimeter charge. I don't think they can actually charge, they need to charge in a straight line. So they can't actually charge. Sorry, their movement is 9 centimeters. Their charge is 12. But they can't charge because you got to charge in more or less a straight line. Only a horse can kind of move a little bit, I think. So basically, they're going to do what the other guys did. They're going to move up. 9 will put just right at the edge, so I'm going to go like that. So at least for now, just one unit's touching the flank of that guy. And we're going to put these guys like this. All right, that's where we're at there. They charge, so they get an extra token. They get one for moving. Okay, that's the end of that. With a footman charge, you don't have to roll a morale check. However, these guys are not going to charge. So I'm giving them, I think they should have got one for the melee. Yeah, one for the melee too, so they're 4 now. This guy should only be 2. All right, so they charge forward. These guys have to make that check again. So they are, again, heavy foot, being charged by light horse. They need to get a 7 or better on 2d6, or else they will break. They get +1 to the roll because they are leaders with them. Oh, they fail. Okay. They actually fail morale here, and if they have to retreat 1.5 move backs to enemy, oh no. Okay. This could actually be a big deal right now. So they're going to have to retreat 1.5 move backs to enemy, and they only had to come forward. I know where they were, so they were literally right here. They've only moved 2 centimeters of their 30 centimeter charge. So these guys are going to move back a 1.5 moves. Now, because of the fact that we are not going to let the orcs basically get away, because this is, well, probably end up doing is if some of them do run off the table, then we're probably going to have to do another skirmish. So a 1.5 moves would be 9 plus 6, they'd actually be off the table. So these guys are actually going to retreat back with their backs to the enemy, and these guys would actually run them off the table. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say, because their move is 9, so 9 and then 4.5 will be 13.5, and they're, oh no, hold on, I measured that wrong. They're 18 from the side of the table. So actually, no, 13.5 is where they got to go to. Bad measurement. 13.5. Okay, so they're actually there. Okay, and then these guys are going to continue the charge. Right? So they get to roll that morale again. They got to get 7 or better, and they got a +1. Oh my God, they failed. Okay, so they're going to get pushed right off the table. So these guys have left the skirmish, and we're going to see if they come back or not. And move these guys right to the end. We're going to see what happens with that, because that is their leader, and also, like I said, we're going to chase them down. We might have to do like a little chase scene with those guys. But for now, let's jump over here and see what we have going on. These guys are no longer near their leader, which is bad for them. All right, so, oh, actually, the leader has been pushed off the table. They're supposed to make a morale check, but I'm just going to have them stay because I don't want to deal with that. Because like I said, they're not really leaving. I would use a bigger field because we're chasing them down. We're not going to... Yeah, actually, they should make a morale check because their leader just failed. So they have to make a regular morale check as if they lost excess casualties with a -2. So they've got to make a 7 or better with a -2 on the roll. That's for these guys. Oh, they make it. Okay. And the ogres, same thing. Okay, no, they fail. So the ogres are actually going to retreat. Like legit retreat off the table. So these guys leave. Okay. And again, these other horses are probably going to chase them. So we'll deal with that in 1 second. We might come back on like an old school video game. We're going to come back on this side of the table. Okay. Anyways, let's see what we got going on here. That guy's got his back. Okay, so now this guy could actually move if he wanted to. So he's going to use half his movement to turn around. And then he's going to come into the back of these guys. Okay. As noted, I can cast spells into a melee because there's nothing that says in Chainmail you can't. So they're actually going to cast, both of them are going to cast their sleep spells. We'll take out 2 of these. Okay, and they each have 1 more sleep spell. Okay, now let's do some melees. They're attacking in the flank. When you attack in the flank, you attack as 1 better. So they're going to attack as armored foot. And because it's the first round and they're just making contact now, they're only that one stand can attack. Next round, if it stays here, more than one can attack. So Armored Foot versus Light Horse is 1 die per man, 6 kills. So they get 1 die with a 6 killing. 5, okay. And they're -1 actually. So it's impossible for them to actually do it. The guy that's being flanked can fight back. Okay, so he just fights back normally against them. So again, we've got Light Horse against Heavy Foot. No, I guess against Armored Foot because they fight the next tower class. Okay, so they basically get treated as Armored Foot. So Light Horse versus Armored Foot. 1 die per man, 6 kills. Okay, so basically they get 1 die and a 6 will kill. No, okay, nothing there either. All right, so nothing amounts to that. But these guys are attacking from the rear. So when you attack from the rear, not only do they not get to attack you back, you attack as 1 rank higher. So they're going to attack as Medium Horse. So Medium Horse versus Heavy Foot is 2 dice per man, 5 or 6 kills. So I'm going to roll 2 dice. Any 5s or 6s will kill. Okay, no. But, I should have done this before, but they lost a third of their troops to that sleep spell, which means that they need to make a morale check. They need a 7 or better, which they fail. Okay, so they have failed the morale check, which is, again, that's the one that pushes you off the board effectively. So effectively the orcs are in retreat. So we're going to reset this now and we're going to do an orc in retreat attack because again, this is a wipeout mission. If you've been enjoying these actual play videos, and I think you have if you got this far, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're interested in seeing more content like this. You can check the show notes below to find links to all kinds of stuff, including my t-shirts if you'd like a t-shirt. You can also find links to my Discord server. Join up over there. Join the conversation. Lots of cool people over there. And my Patreon if you'd like to support the channels. I'll talk to you soon.